The 2026 FIFA World Cup is almost here. And before the first ball is kicked, there are 5 things every fan needs to know. Not predictions, not hot takes. Facts, patterns, and warning signs hidden inside nearly 100 years of World Cup history. Because if you're like most people, you're probably focused on the obvious stories. Messi's final chapter, Ronaldo's last chance, Brazil's hunt for redemption, but history suggests the biggest stories of this tournament may come from places nobody expects. So before the biggest sporting event on Earth begins, here are the 5 things you need to know before FIFA World Cup 2026 starts. Number 1, the champion's curse. Let's start with Argentina, because history is not on their side. Winning a World Cup is incredibly difficult. Winning 2 in a row is almost impossible. For decades, defending champions have entered tournaments looking unstoppable. Then reality hits. Every opponent studies them. Every weakness gets exposed. Every match feels like a final. The pressure becomes relentless. Since the modern era began, defending champions have repeatedly fallen short of expectations. Some never even reached the knockout rounds. Now Argentina enters 2026 carrying that same burden. And they're doing it with Lionel Messi approaching what could be the final World Cup appearance of one of the greatest players ever. But here's what makes Argentina dangerous. They're no longer dependent on one superstar. The team that won in Qatar wasn't built on individual brilliance alone. It was built on chemistry, belief, and a squad willing to fight for every inch. History says repeating is almost impossible. Argentina believes they're the exception, and that's what makes their journey fascinating. Number 2, Ronaldo's final shot. Now let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, because no player enters this tournament with more unfinished business. Portugal has produced world-class players for generations, yet somehow they've never won a World Cup. And now Ronaldo has one final opportunity to change that forever. Think about what that means. League titles, Champions League trophies, international records, individual awards. Few athletes in history have accomplished more, yet the biggest trophy in football remains missing. Portugal enters 2026 with one of the deepest squads they've ever assembled. Young stars, creative midfielders, elite defenders. The question isn't whether Portugal is good enough. The question is whether this generation can finally accomplish, and if they do, Ronaldo's final World Cup could become one of the most memorable stories the sport has ever seen. Number 3, Brazil's 24-year drought. Now for the most successful nation in World Cup history. Brazil, 5 titles, more than any other country. But here's something that surprises many younger fans. Brazil hasn't played in a World Cup final since 2002. Every 4 years, expectations remain exactly the same. Win, nothing less. And every time they fall short, the pressure grows even heavier. The question is whether Brazil can finally turn potential into another championship run. Because for the most successful nation in football history, waiting nearly a quarter century feels like an eternity. Number 4, the quite favorite, Spain. Because while the football world debates superstars, Spain keeps doing something much more dangerous: winning. They don't rely on one global icon. They rely on control. Control of possession, control of tempo, control of games. And historically, that's exactly the type of team that succeeds in World Cups. The most complete team often beats the most famous team. That's happened again and again throughout football history. Spain may not dominate social media headlines, but they don't need to. Because when tournaments get tight and pressure reaches its peak, disciplined teams become incredibly difficult to stop. Number 5, the 48-team experiment. For the first time ever, the FIFA World Cup will feature 48 teams, and that changes everything. More teams means more matches, more travel, more unfamiliar opponents. The traditional powers won't just need talent, they'll need depth. Squads will be tested harder than ever before. One injury, one bad performance, one unexpected draw, and suddenly a tournament can spiral in a completely different direction. Football has never seen a World Cup like this before. And whenever something completely new is introduced, surprises usually follow.